I am, and have been since 2021, constantly trying to find a way of giving you money.
In my last business, I raised tens of millions of dollars. And for my next business, investors are already calling. And so today, I want to show you a real life investor call with one of the best investors in the world. Show you how I prepare and everything behind the scenes of what a day in the life looks like running a business here in China. So by the end of today's video, you'll know whether taking money from investors is the right thing for you to do in your business. So I've just gone for a run. I'm gonna go get changed and we'll go get ready for this call. Back in the apartment, this is where we eat, sleep, work, and do everything else in between. This is our work studio, the lab, where everything gets done and we spend most of the day. But I'm gonna get ready now. First up is a meeting with Matthew and the team. We're gonna talk about the investment call that we have this afternoon, how we're preparing, and everything else that's going on the ground in China. So on that note, get ready and let's jump on the call. Hey Matthew, morning.
Ni hao.
Morning. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, for this investor call today, I just wanted to run you guys through just like how we're thinking about it. This is like the clearest verbalization of like where we are as a business and what's important. The economics are crazy. It's $5, $6 a square meter coming out of the factory US, lands in Australia for $10, and then right now it's selling for $50 to $80 a square meter in a showroom. And so our prices are able to be $20 to $30 a square meter at a showroom. So we're saving our customer more than half the money that they would spend. That's that. Now guys, for today, what's the most relevant thing that we want to talk about? Anything pressing that we should, yes, Nick?
Yeah, so our main priority today is making sure we're catching up on a lot of those samples and making sure that we're following up with a lot of those customers to make sure that they're, one, happy with the sample orders and they're happy with the quality. Also with the new packaging that we're doing, we want photos from a lot of those customers to see how it's arriving to them, making sure that the tiles aren't damaged. So if there's any amendments that need to be made on the shipping, we can make them as soon as possible.
Makes sense. And Matthew, anything from your side?
So basically the priority right now is to expedite the sample orders to the customers as soon as possible without it. Good, Nick, thanks to you there. So I already got the sample from, I wrote to you about Toshin. I already had cut already, everything's ready. So tomorrow I have GLA, I have Medici, and the other one 4 or 5. I think by Saturday, Sunday, I'll have everything ready.
Love your work, Matthew. Love your work.
Sounds good.
I want to be faster than you with the label. So I'll just sit there every day. I'll just say, Nick, please hurry up with the labels.
I love that.
Legend.
Good.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Matthew.
All right.
Thanks, Nick.
Cool. Okay, we'll talk later.
See you guys.
Bye.
Talk later. Bye.
Bye. Talk later, Nick.
And that's a wrap. So we try to do these calls every day. So it's just like a 15-minute sync check-in. And so when you're running a business, and especially when you're preparing for meetings like we're doing this afternoon, it's important to try and get the team on board. And whilst it might be a little bit overkill to talk about like your investor prep with them, it's very important to have the team talking and thinking the same way, because it's not just how we communicate externally to investors and partners and other people that want to be a part of the business. It should reflect to how we think about things internally and really be true to who we are as a company. And so on that note, we're off to lunch now. Are we off to lunch?
Yeah, we're
Great, we're off to lunch. And welcome to one of my favorite lunch spots in Hong Kong. It's very authentic, as you can see. Some of the best food here in the city that you'll find. And so when I'm feeling like a real Hong Kong meal, not Western stuff, this is where I come. Life's all about trying to find unfair advantages. And for us, I think me running a business here in Hong Kong is our unfair advantage. It's trying to get as close to the source as humanly possible, and our source is China. And so being able to go into the factories almost every day, I go like at least once a week, spend time with the suppliers and really try and find ways to optimize our process. Because we sell out our materials directly from China to the end consumer in Australia, getting close to the source and really checking quality, checking timeframes, making sure things go out on time. We can do that because we're here. And so when you're running a business, try and find your competitive advantage. What's the thing that you can do if you're not already, that you can really lean into, whether it's location, whether it's your skill set, whether it's maybe some capital that you can tap into, investment, whatever it might be. Try and find that unfair advantage that no one else can get because in business you need every single right to win. So, on that note, we'll drink our tea, get our food, and get back on the road, get to the office, and get ready for this meeting. So thinking about the call that we're about to walk into, the entire internet will tell you that taking investment from venture capitalists is the best thing ever. And then if you get the opportunity to take investment, you should take it. Let me be the first to tell you, from someone who has actually taken tens of millions of dollars from investors before, that it is one of the most challenging, difficult, and sometimes worst things that you could do if you want to run a successful business. Here's why. If you invite an investor in, even if you only give them like 5% of your business, you are no longer the only shareholder in that company. And when you set up a company and you register it, your fiduciary responsibility, which is a fancy word of just saying your responsibility, is to the shareholders. And now when that's not just you, it's now to someone else. And so you lose control. And everyone on the internet talks about starting a business, you get this fancy lifestyle and all these sorts of things. You have other investors involved, there's no longer that. You are working for them. And so if you have the opportunity to just build a business that produces cash flow, that you don't have to raise money for, and you could just sell something to someone and make sure it's profitable, in my opinion, that is the best business to build. Because more often than not, investors won't even give you money unless you actually have something to show for it. And so if you're watching this right now and you're thinking about taking investment from someone or going out to raise money, I would really just impart on you, from someone who's done it before, just think about it. Think about, really, is it money that you really need? And is it sometimes better to just go and focus on starting a business with real fundamentals, focusing on building a business that actually has profit in it? And then if you're ready to go from you go the 0 to 1 and then you want to go the 1 to 2, that's when you go and raise cash, and that's when you double down. And so all this said though, why are we taking this investor meeting today? The context is they're one of the biggest VC funds in all of Australia. And so I kind of view the call as much more of a relationship building exercise, because whilst money is important in a business, I think, in my opinion, it's more about the relationship, and it's all about what that money can buy and the access and the opportunity. And so if we were to take money from these guys that you're about to see on screen, it may open up a new opportunity for us to meet more people, to hire the best people in China, to be able to sell more into the US or maybe even Australia, because these guys are so well connected. And so when you're thinking about who do you take meetings with versus not, it's not just about taking the money, it's more so about what does the money get you and what access does it unlock. And that's at least how I think about the conversation today. So if you have the opportunity to speak to venture capitalists and investors, there's no harm in taking it. There's good experience in pitching, getting your business out there, trying something new. But I just would think if you get to the point of actually taking the cash, that's when you really think deeply about it. And so on that note, let's get back into the apartment and let's do this call.
I get nervous about these things. It's super exciting. But I've just been doing some notes on how we want to frame the business, because we're not just an e-commerce business. We're like the bridge between China, the West, and the East is kind of how I think about what we're doing, which is a very different way of approaching this and thinking about being that trust and information layer that doesn't exist. So I'm now 2 minutes late. It's a really bad look. So I'm going to shut up and get on this call, and I'll tell you how it goes in a second. You'll see. Hey guys, how are we?
How are you? Where are you in the world? Are you in Hong Kong?
Hong Kong, yep.
Is that where you're working and living at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm in literally, I was telling, maybe you were there when I was telling Jethro, but literally I've imported a videographer as well from Australia. Byron, he's very, very talented, and I found him off just a real estate video that I thought was the best video I'd ever seen. So I found him, convinced him to move to Hong Kong, and so when I rented the place, I said, you should have a bedroom here, and so we literally, one of the rooms is an office, we work out of here, everything happens here, and then we got the team in China. So I go back and forth to mainland very, very often, but it's nice because as you know, Hong Kong's the perfect in-between, and so it's good just to spend time here, and when you need to go back into China, you're a 1 hour train right away.
Dude, I don't want to call it hacker house because I feel like that's not quite what we're doing here. Whatever the right name for it is. But just the intensity it takes to live and work with your colleague in Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. Jack, it's why I love you, man. I think that's so fucking cool. Would just love to hear like what's going on your side. What can you tell us? What are you learning? How's it going? How's it resonating with supply side, demand side, etc.?
Yeah, and 100%. I mean, you guys know what we're essentially building here is on the front end, it's an e-commerce business, and that's great. But essentially, we're trying to like build this like trust and information layer between China and Australia and the US. Call it the West. Currently, right now, that doesn't exist. If you were to go on and try and buy building supplies directly from a factory, how would you do that?
I fucked it. I'd call you, but other than that, I don't know what I would do.
Right. Or really anything. We could pick any category. And so like, it kind of proves that if you think about that more, the only real option you have is like Alibaba, and you would go on and you would like figure through some listings and try and like read some reviews and figure out whether the supplier is legitimate or not. But it's not really a bridge. It's just a marketplace. And so essentially what we're building is the first real legitimate bridge between these two parts of the world. And the way that we're doing that is you kind of have to start somewhere. And so that's why we picked tiles and construction supplies as like that first category. Construction supplies out of China is a $13 trillion a year category. But we thought, all right, we'll start there. We'll start with tiles. Tiles is a massive component of that. And the markups in Australia on tiles are unbelievable. But eventually the long-term play is what we're doing is we're building these exclusive relationships with suppliers. And what we want to do is embed ourselves there and start to really understand a few things. First is, what are the styles available at any one point in time? What are those stock levels? Right now, most of these suppliers are literally just using Excel and some guy's brain in the warehouse to like remember what's on hand. And they use WeChat to like send it around and then they tell the sales lady, and the sales lady that tells the person who wants to buy. So we thought, well, all right, so essentially we want to modernize that for a factory. And so we've started to put into place, like, you have to build the relationships first. You have to kind of build trust and credibility, and that's just literally selling their stock through, which is what we're doing. But over time, it's this huge play on, all right, how can you kind of build that information and trust layer, which we're very much trying to do. It's not a capital intense business at all. Like literally the only expenses are like nothing. It's like we take money from a customer.
You're a marketplace. You're just a piece of marketplace.
Exactly. We buy that stock and then we facilitate the logistics directly to the customer's door. And so very much our goal and focus is we're just trying to continue to prove the demand engine of this business. And so we'll continue to do that over the next 6 to 12 months. But whilst doing that simultaneously, again, building what we really want to build, which is this underlying layer. And we know how powerful that is because right now, no one has visibility really into China. Like no one understands the things that I was just talking about around on the supplier level, what really exists, what's on the ground, what can someone actually sell. And so whoever gets that information first and owns that information layer, I think that's it. And so that's what we're moving towards, and we want to get there as quickly as humanly possible.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And when you think about like scaling, you talked before about, do we even want 1,000 orders in the month of August? Like for that to go, like what is the thing that stops you from saying I want to do 1 million orders today? Like what's the thing that's really hard?
That's a great question. So I don't buy everything from one supplier. We buy obviously from a range, and we don't have one supplier dependency. So what happens is if a customer comes in, typically they don't just buy one tile or one thing. They buy 5 or 6 things. Now, what happens is when they buy 5 or 6 things, you have to consolidate them. And so it's really just a question of how well can we get our internal automated system of, we have one order, 6 different items. How do you get contacted with 6 different suppliers, get them all in around the same time, make sure they're all palletized and then ready to go on a container. So it's not a question of having to hire more people. It's not a question of having to spend more, or there's some real bottleneck. It's really just our ability to be able to get better at systemizing it. Right now, we just look at it, it's systemized, but it's all like still manual checks, and we're trying to just make sure it's perfect. So really it's like, before you get to 1,000 orders, you really want to do 200 orders, then 500, then 1,000. And really then your ability to go from 1,000 to 10,000 is probably a much smaller jump. But we just want to make sure that every single customer that we serve, we do it right, because the biggest driver of this business is word of mouth. And a lot of the customers that are coming through are all ones that either know about me, they know about the brand, they've seen us on TV, they've seen a press article about it, and they're pissed off at the status quo because they hate how expensive building in Australia is, and it's the same in the US and in Europe. And so you've got really emotionally charged people wanting to solve a real problem, and if you dig that up and you can't deliver, then that's just this is the worst. So anyway, that's why.
Jack, I unfortunately I've got a hard stop on the hour, but I wanted to ask you a question that I sort of, we kind of joked about on text, which is I was like, I am and have been since 2021 constantly trying to find a way of giving you money. And you were like, oh man, I can like self-fund this for the foreseeable future. Just talk to me a little bit about how the intersection of scaling, speed, ambition, and capital all work together. Obviously you want to build a really big business. You had a crack at the apple, you had a great exit, but I imagine your ambition is much greater. This is a fucking massive problem in a huge market. You could become a very large business doing this. I mean, just look at the companies in the world that have done similar things and become very big. Talk to me about how capital feeds into that plan.
Yeah, I mean, look, it depends. I think when we first spoke, my words to you were, we were just so focused on, we've got to get a way to bring customers in. We've got to get a way to prove that customers, we want this model to begin with. We got to get a way to test it and see if there's actually something here, etc., etc. So, we've done that. We're now out. It's kind of going up and to the right. We need to make sure it continues to do that. Great. That's our job. Cool. We'll be fine. But yeah, it depends. I mean, as I said to you, it's really a case of like, we don't need cash. Cash doesn't mean anything to me, but it's more about, who's giving that cash? What are they going to bring to the table? What do we want? I mean, as I said to you just before, again, the play here is we're not building an e-commerce business. Yeah, that's the front of it. But that's really just like the demand engine. Where we see this going is it's very much around, to use my words, the trusted information layer around actually bridging the gap between knowing what exists in China on the ground, and it's pretty much category agnostic. So you can take that same play and play it across everything. And so the ability to do that over the next couple of years, you kind of need the right people in the room. So yeah, it just depends on what the value add's going to be. I'll change to you guys. We can just talk about gym workouts.
I could, and hopefully then we can invest and I can visit Hong Kong. Jack, I'm really sorry, man. I'm going to have to run.
Go.
I'll bug you in a couple of weeks when we're back and we can go from there.
Enjoy Europe.
I'll see you later, bro.
Right, see you guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, dude. I think that went well. Yeah, as I said, we're not trying to raise money, but I think it's... I think when you have people who are wanting to give you a few $1 million, you kind of like probably have that conversation and see where it goes. But yeah, the fund size of these, so Square Peg's the investment company, and then I think the fund's like, it's only $1 billion, the most recent one. And as I said, they're trying to deploy capital, and it's an exciting time, and yada yada. And they've done a lot of investments in Asia. But the thing I look at when we're trying to take investment is I'm just trying to see these guys like, what value are they actually going to add? Like, what's the thing they're going to bring to the table beyond the money? Because we're very fortunate that with the previous business I sold, we don't need cash. We need expertise, and we need more people on the ground, and we need access. And that's always the thing. But yeah, man, I always love these I love these meetings. Even people ask like, what's the thing that drives you? If I think of this meeting today, I'm literally like nervous and had the prep ready and had all the notes, and it's crazy because we don't even need money. We're not even trying to raise cash, but I just love this stuff. And I've been doing it for years in America. For my previous business, we raised tens of millions of dollars. And so the number of times I've done these investment pitches, and they're less pitches always. They're very much just more conversations, and it's just about getting to know the investor, and they can ask you a bunch of like hard-hitting questions sometimes, and you gotta have the answers ready. But if you can just kind of like sell through that and just build the relationship with them, more often than not, it's about trust. And investment is also about FOMO as well. So, if they know that other people are wanting to put money in, or they want to lead around, and, the whole thing, it's like this ability to kind of like fast the process and get the numbers pumped up, because obviously everyone wants to be involved in something that's hot. No one wants to be involved in something that's dead. But anyway, lots of thinking to do. I got to figure out what we want to do. But we're going to talk again in the next couple of weeks, and we'll see where the conversation goes. But yeah, this could be fun. That's our first investment call for the business, so we can look back at this in like 5 years' time if we end up raising money. Like, look good. Anyway, see ya.